I'm Holly Scott and my world changed 2 weeks after my 22nd birthday. I remember calling Johnny. That was on my way home. I remember finishing work at 6 o'clock.
She hadn't rocked up, and I got a bit worried and I started trying to call her, and her phone was completely dead, and I tried her a couple more times and I knew straight away I had a gut feeling that something wasn't right. It only took about 2 minutes of driving, and then I saw the back of her car sticking out from behind a bush. I was like, oh geez, I wonder if she's alive. And I ran over to the car, looking down at Holly's legs. They were twisted in a really sort of unnatural way, and they were really swollen. And I started to look at the bigger picture and realised how serious it really was.
Received a call for a motor vehicle accident. Johnny was there already. He was trying to help her, but it was very obvious that she was quite heavily trapped in the vehicle.
I was expecting to walk up to the car and actually not find anyone alive in it because the car was wrapped around a tree.
The car was so wrecked, beyond anything I'd ever seen. The steering wheel was sitting on literally the other side of the dash. Holly was literally just twisted around in the tiniest spot imaginable.
The initial assessment from the ambulance people was that the injuries were significant, potentially life-threatening.
It was quite obvious that she had a head injury from the way that she was behaving, but it was difficult to assess straight away because she was quite heavily trapped in the vehicle. We couldn't really see her lower limbs at all.
Someone's trapped like that, then they need to be out within an hour, and any longer than that, their survivability is not as great. Holly's was substantially longer than that.
We were going up there more as a support role for the local patrols, just to make sure that everything is covered should the worst happen.
We knew she had a number of long bone fractures and potentially pelvis as well as internal bleeding, which was quite obvious from the outset, as well as a head injury. So we're looking at optimising all those, the treatments for those injuries, as well as parallel working with the CFS to extricate her as well as we could.
We all came to the opinion that if we pulled the vehicle off the tree, we were going to be able to extricate her a lot more rapidly.
I was there with her talking through what they were doing, coming in and out of consciousness. She was just saying, don't let me die, don't let me die.
The whole road was just lined with police cars and emergency services cars. There would have been 20 or 30 of them. So it sort of, once again you sort of saw how dire the situation was.
And by the time we get there, Holly had already left the scene in the ambulance.
She held her own through to the trauma centre, but she was critically ill.
Holly took the full brunt of the impact on the driver's door, and that's usually a really bad place.
With that level of trauma, for someone to bleed internally and die is quite common.
My initial assessment was Holly's outcome would be for the worst, and it would be a case of when, not if.
I had a new full-time job, best friends, a new relationship, and then everything changed.
You don't think that would happen to someone you know and that you love. You see on the news every day, but you don't expect it to happen to someone so close to you.